Are you curious about what's good and what's bad about living in the city? Well, today I'm here with you to share the things that we love and hate about living a life in Las Vegas. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. Number one on my pros list is taxes. Nevada is one of only 9 states to not have an income tax. And if you're wondering, well, where do they make up the extra revenue to make up for the no income state tax? And that goes to the gambling tax. So the gambling tax accounts for over 1/3 of the state's revenue. Las Vegas also has no inheritance tax or estate tax, no tax on retiree pensions, and we also have lower sales tax than our neighboring state, California. Number 2 on my pros list goes to restaurants. So let's just start off by saying that Las Vegas is a huge melting pot. Whether you were born and raised here, your family most likely came from another part of the world. So the beauty of it is you have such a diverse group of people, and the best thing about it was a good amount of them actually brought their traditional types of food back with them. Love trying different food from El Salvadorian to Ethiopian to Mediterranean, you name it, Las Vegas has it. That is the number 2 on my pros list, goes to the abundance and different types of restaurants that we have that serve food from all over the place. Number 3 on my pros list goes to our climate. So we do have a very, very warm, if not really hot weather during the summertime, as many of you can imagine, but that's what we're known for. So we make it very attractive from people that are coming from, snowy states that don't really see a lot of sun that many months out of the year. We're totally known for that. It makes it a very attractive spot, and as long as you don't stay walking outside during the hot summer heats when we're triple digits, very high numbers, you should be fine during our summer by just staying indoors and keeping your thermostat set at a comfortable temperature for you. And number 3 on my pros list goes to our never-ending amount of entertainment. So we have, there's a plethora of things to do, not only on the Las Vegas Strip, from different shows to magic shows to concerts to now we've become a big sports attraction because we have T-Mobile Arena, Allegiant Stadium, and soon hopefully to be a baseball stadium. So there's a lot to do just in that section, but there's not enough talk about what happens in downtown Summerlin. The Art District, Fremont Street, Ferguson Motel, the Station Casinos, and even Water Street, which is the Henderson downtown area that has been newly renovated and is still on the come up. So there is just an abundance of things to do every single day of the week, as well as during the weekends. And not to mention that we have some really big convention centers that draw in people from all over the world to come here. And number 5 on my pros list goes to our international airport, where you can get direct flights to some of the most popular places to go to within our country and within the world. The location of the Harry Reid Airport is a very short drive from anywhere that you're staying, either on the Strip, and it's about a 20 to 30 minute drive if you're living out within the suburbs, which still is not a bad drive in comparison to other airports and their locations to their cities. And number 6 on my list goes to the amount of pride that we have in our parks. I absolutely love it, especially because I have 3 dogs on my own, and we love taking them to the several different dog parks that they have that actually separate large dogs from small dogs, which I didn't know was a thing. I thought before, at least the dog parks that we visited, it was all dogs in one designated fenced-in area, and I love that because they get to play with dogs that are of similar sizes to them, which is great. We have a variety of parks, from parks that contain shaded workout areas to shaded playgrounds to mini water parks where they have these spouts built into the ground that shoot water up for the kids in the summertime, which is so refreshing because it gets so hot here. And in these parks, you'll have bike paths, running paths, just different trails. And on the park itself, they'll have huge, like several lots to play basketball, to play sand volleyball, which is really neat. They just redid the Sunset Park and it looks amazing. Pickleball is another up and coming sport, and they're known to have full-on tournaments like at these parks. So it's amazing to see that they're getting built out. And they'll also have picnic areas that have little covered awnings that will also have a little barbecue pit that you could come and bring some charcoal and make some food there on a not too hot day. So the parks here are just absolutely breathtaking. I always mention it in some of, if not all of my videos. That's one thing that I love about Vegas personally. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the cons list. So number 1 goes to traffic. And I think you could very quickly understand why that's always a huge problem, because you have the tourism traffic, and then you have the locals getting to work traffic, and then you have construction. Also, being a relocation state on top of high tourism makes for a lot of vehicles on the roadways. And especially when they're rebuilding, demolishing, or renovating certain areas, it causes for even more traffic when they have to reroute. Because there could be such heavy traffic, that means that there's a lot of wear and tear on the roadways. So they're having to constantly fix potholes and even prepare for upcoming events like Formula One. Aside from the Super Bowl is going to be our 2 next really big events. So they're trying to redo certain roadways that are in highly traffic, highly touristic streets. So it's creating a bit of a lot of backup even amongst like back roads. This one very easily ties into my con number 2, which is construction. So back to the renovation, demolishing buildings and rebuilding buildings, or even rebuilding new buildings on pre-existing land, it creates a lot of backup traffic, especially if they're having to reroute to other roads that people who are maybe visiting the state just aren't quite that familiar with. And number 3 on my cons list goes to our rising rate in homelessness. So many big cities had seen a slight uptick in the amount of homeless people being seen on the streets. And the city has enacted several different programs in place to help get these people off the streets and give them a clean start. So it's really refreshing to see the city step in and build facilities and offer different services that can help them get just even one step ahead. Number 4 on my cons list goes to a lack of water. So this one has been becoming more of an issue each year that goes by. Lake Mead has seen a huge drop in water levels, exposing old boats that have sunk in and even some bodies that had been dropped in the lake. But we did have an unusual amount of snowfall. We helped to refill it, but it's still not enough to get it to a level where the city feels comfortable. Therefore, the city is really big on water conservation, and they're really big about watering schedules. Their biggest hope is that snowfall will become a thing this winter to help that snow melt and then refill places like Lake Mead and the Colorado River. The 5th and final con on my list is also another big one, and that is our education system. Now, Nevada is not known for having the best education system. However, the superintendent has said publicly that he believes that a big part of this is due to the lack of funding or money that they put into enhance the things like technology and just the schools themselves. Even though Nevada has seen slight improvements in their education system, they still rank in the bottom 10 of our nation. I hope my list of the good and the bad gives you a better idea of what living in Las Vegas is like. You may find that some items on my list might be comparable to where you currently live, or they might be maybe non-existent to where you live. Either way, I personally think that Nevada is a great place to live due to the rise in entrepreneurship and innovation and technology. I think it's going to be a main hub of the future, similar to Silicon Valley. So it's very exciting to be here to track its growth and be a part of the community. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.